Hello everyone, I am Swapnil Kharade, a practicing cost and management accountant. Together with tax practice, I have a financial consultancy, stockbroking, and mutual fund distribution center. Being in the field of investments for last 16 years, I have selected a topic COVID-19 impact on investments, a general economic outlook. Before we start that, I want to thank Dr. VB Gaikwad sir, Principal KTHM College, Muthal sir, Vice Principal KTHM College, Dr. N.D. Gaikwad sir, Dr. V.B. Boroste sir, Professor S.A. Sonavne sir for giving me this opportunity to present in faculty development program. Coming to the point, the International Monetary Fund has put the fallout of the current COVID crisis in the category of severe recession, worse than subprime crisis of 2008. This unprecedented situation demands unprecedented moves, but without getting panicked. COVID has made impossible possible in many ways. We have witnessed few things for the first time in our life, such as global lockdown. No one had ever imagined that the whole world will shut their doors. Staying in home for such a long time, no work, no travel, no exam, nothing. It really happened for the first time. We also saw biggest market falls of the decade. Sensex, Nifty falling like house of cards, not only our markets but global markets too. Crude oil contract price, future contract value went negative, though it was for a small time, but we saw it for the first time. Developed countries like UK, USA, Italy, if you say, saw the worst side of COVID. No one expected situation there could be so helpless. Even in India, we have a serious threat from COVID with active cases more than 4,90,000 as on today. In spite of good festive Muhurats, auto giant Maruti posted zero sales figures. Lockdown for COVID really made impossible possible, as I have never seen Maruti sales go down like this. There are many things to talk about, but considering commercial and economic issues, the real jeopardy for individuals and business is their revenues are falling but expenses are unavoidable. Anyways, sticking to the topic, we are going to analyze general economic effects of COVID-19 on economy and few case studies on investments. A small list of FAQs hovering our mind will be answered in short, such as Corona pandemic curse or boon. Well, we can say curse for many and boon for few. Second question, when is it going to end? This is a tough question as we didn't know when it was going to start. We hardly know when it's going to end. One thing we know for sure that life will prevail as we have witnessed some serious pandemics in the past as well, like SARS. The other three questions are core of our topic, which will be dealt in detail through case studies. Our today's plan of action. First, we shall see the overview of threat the pandemic has posed on us, sector-wise effect and fall of 2020. Then, we got opportunities for investment and how government is planning to rescue from this crisis situation. Our analysis is broadly based on share market case studies. Economy and investments are correlated. Flourishing economy attracts investment and investments also get rewarded in growing economies. We have listed a few positive and negative effects here. On positive side, we see pollution halt because of industrial shutdown obviously, global coordination for development of affordable treatment of virus. New sectors are getting momentum in digital and pharma sector. We will see this in detail in some cases. forex reserves improving, etc. On the negative side, list is bit longer, but to name few, we have unemployment. This was the biggest evil of all. Unemployment rates were soaring high, but recently data shows that due to phased unlocking of economy, the unemployment rates are reducing back to the scores before the pandemic. But lockdown is now looking at increasing up to or going to continue up to 31st of July. Anyways, underutilization of capacities will definitely add to higher cost of product and services as fixed cost per unit will increase. Consumer preferences are definitely going to change towards basic necessities only, which will curtail the demand for many luxury product and services. Displacement of workforce, we see there is huge importance of migrant workers in states like Maharashtra. Almost all the construction and infra activities depend on them. And if they are not coming back on work, labor cost is going to reach sky. Also, project completion dates will get delayed. It is equally applicable to other industries as well. Next item is lower disposable incomes. For individuals and households, there will be pay cut, revenue shortage, which will result in lower disposable incomes. We all, being commerce people, know the importance of disposable income. If such income falls, there will be fall in demand or consumption expenditure, which will directly affect our national income. Last is past of sorry pace of obsolescence is increased. If we talk about computer systems or network tools, everyone is looking for system upgrade to add digital and online features, making old tools outdated before time. This is again going to be a costly affair which will add to the prices of goods and services businesses are going to make. Everyone is expecting government to do things for them. No one is happy, doesn't matter what relief package government is delivering. But we are not understanding situation of government. Government cannot spend money if they don't earn it. Direct and indirect taxes collection is very important. If you look at the image on screen, you will notice that top 5 states contributing tax to government kitty are the top COVID infected states. Maharashtra, Delhi, Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, and Gujarat contribute about 72% of total direct tax collected in India. Simply, government spending will fall. Government will spend on test, healthcare, and treatment, but that will be a sunk cost. It won't generate any product or service in infrastructure, just the cost to save lives. Fine. Saving life is important, but economy will suffer the implications. As a result of which, government spending will reduce. Government spending has a big share on GDP, as we are aware that government spending to GDP averages around 15%. So far, some better news comes from import export data. We saw reduction in both import and exports, but good part is our export fell by 36.65% to USD 27.96 billion compared to same figures last year, and import fell by 47.36% to USD 27.80 billion. This resulted in reduced trade deficit. Still, our balance of trade is not much in favor, but this reduction in deficit will be good. As a result of some measures and circumstances, forex reserves are hitting record high for India. After hitting lifetime high of $507.644 billion dollars, it stands $505.566 billion dollars for the week ended 19 June 2020. However, RBI is conscious not to increase rupee value to keep our exports attractive. We import a lot of oil. From trading point of view, this is something I saw for the first time. Oil futures were negative because of low demand and storage facilities exhausted. Crude oil prices fell below zero. Yes, it was true. It recovered quickly, but the situation was worth noting. Another important figure was gold import, just 50 kg, the lowest in 3 decades. We actually saw about 100%, that is 99.9% import fell in gold quantities. Shocking but true. Stock market is certainly not the only and accurate indicator of economic situation, but in some cases it somehow reflects the state of economic activity. We saw sharp fall from record high of 41,300 in February 2020 to bottom of 26,000 in March 2020. Stock market crash in anticipation of negative impact of lockdown on revenues of many industries. Whole world was expecting a recession from 2018, industrial slowdown, GST implementation, border disputes and a few more reasons, but COVID impact gave them the chance to fall. During initial stage in March, we saw market circuit. Circuit is a point where market reaches the highest or lowest allowed value in a trading day. On reaching that level, trading is put on hold for some time. If necessary, the circuit levels are reset and market may continue to rise or fall. We saw 10% lower circuit on BSE, Sensex and Nifty on March 23rd. Consequently, trading on Dalal Street was halted for 45 minutes. The worst is not over, but here we are today, around 35,200 levels. Small recovery on account of people buying valued stocks. Some of the companies got increase in stake of promoters, which is a good sign. Those promoters who have confidence on their company, on their business prospects, only they increase the stake in companies. Every fall in market can be used as opportunity to buy good quality stocks, and exactly the same reason led to this small recovery. However, I expect a fall in coming months may be may not be as sharp as this one, but definitely I expect a fall. Reason behind my thought is that we got into lockdown in March last week. So Q4 FY20 results hardly had any effect visibility of lockdown. But Q1 FY21 is going to magnify the losses and illiquidity which will pull down the valuations up to certain extent. We don't need to panic or worry, but we need to plan our investments. Anyways, talking about bear market, history says they don't last longer than bulls. A brief report shows average fall of 33% and life 14 months. The comeback stories are more attractive with returns and life in multiple of bear markets. Average 279% and a life of 72 months. So let's not lose the hope. If we can compare fall of 2020 with fall of 2008, we can see increased sharpness both in fall and recovery. Volatility is at its peak nowadays. We have seen sudden rise and sudden fall in same day. Like on 25th June, a day before yesterday, we saw high in the morning of about 34,956. towards low of 34,610 by afternoon, that is by falling 340 points, and again rising to 35,003 points, a rally upwards 393 points up to a day high, and again fell by 116 points to close at 34,817 by the day end. This much volatility is huge and dangerous. All these ups and downs are definitely keeping the traders active. Many people sitting idle at home are trying their luck in market. Many people around us, doctors, engineers, teachers, irrespective of their qualifications and experience, are trading without enough knowledge of share market investments. I always ask my client to trade only on the basis of knowledge and research. Anyways, moving on our way, government have come up with fantastic idea of Atmanirbhar Bharat. However, the other investment instruments or investment or other instruments for government economic policy are here. Fiscal policy, that is, government controls their revenue and expenditure, that is, they increase or decrease taxes and also increase or decrease their spending. Monetary policy, control of the level of money in the economy, that is, pump in pump out function of RBI, where they control rate of interest and supply of money. Other policies are also there, like exchange rate policy, where we value our currency, or artificially RBI tries to value our currency. Either they devalue our currency or revalue upwards. Direct intervention is something called as Atmanirbhar Bharat. Atmanirbhar Bharat primarily focuses on MSME industries. I'm not going to go into detail because of time restriction. They have selected MSME for few reasons, which are: MSME provides employment for many people at wider scale. Skilled, unskilled, everyone gets chance to win their livelihood. MSME can supply the raw material for big industries, which will be a great import substitution. We need not rely on China or other countries for that. This way, we can truly be self reliant, that is, Atmanirbhar. The package also delivers various socio-economic objectives for agri infrastructure, NBFCs, HFC, MFIs, fisheries, etc. The package is said to be worth around 21 lakh crore, which is a bold and handsome package if we consider it with many other countries with same state of economy like India. Anyways, coming back to our topic of investment, many of us who have their savings don't know what to do with it. What the main question arises is, shall we hold cash or investments? I strongly believe in converting savings into investment, which is also my mission statement of SKIS, my consultancy business. In India, we have strong saving function. Everyone holds cash as far as they can. They save it but don't invest it, which blocks the flow of capital. People hold cash, gold in their lockers. Some invest in FD. Some buy real estate in expectation of price rise or rent, and end up holding illiquid assets which cannot be sold at proper price and in time for the sake of emergency. A very few people, about 6%, invest their funds in high yielding and liquid assets like shares and mutual funds. I strongly recommend, if we could increase these type of investments, our country will not need any foreign capital or finance from outside. We can finance our own business and flourish ourselves. Anyways, There are few things I have noted here to differentiate money and asset. Money gets its value because of government supports. As we can read on the currency note, it always says, I promise to pay, which shows that it's a document or it's a promissory note backed by government or the central bank. Whereas asset have its own value. Money preserved as it is will not yield any return. That is true. You save a note and you don't earn even a penny extra. Assets preserved will add up its value on account of demand in the market. Whenever there is increase in demand for assets, its prices go on increasing. Money needs to be invested to earn returns. Absolutely. Asset itself is an investment. True, if you know the meaning. Interest on money in the bank is many times not sufficient to meet the inflation. Capital appreciation of assets is sometimes the result of inflation. Money serves the purpose of store of value. Asset serves the purpose of store and growth of value. This point we have witnessed in real life. Demonetization led to loss of value of old currency notes. They become valueless, just papers. Demonetization changed the demand pattern but not real value of assets. So, because of demonetization, there was slowdown but not loss of value. As money was restored, new notes, assets started picking up their prices as well. Objectives of investments. Why do we invest? In simple words, first reason could be security. Our investment must be secured. As far as investment in share market is concerned, SEBI is responsible for taking care of investors. All the information and processes in the market are governed by SEBI. SEBI does not control prices but definitely keeps the process secured. All transactions are protected against frauds by implementing regulations for market participants. All the investments, extremely sorry, all the investments are absolutely safe if done through legitimate means and institutions. That is, by authorized distributors or SEBI recognized consultants, brokers. That way, investments are secured. The second motive is liquidity. Investment must be liquid. अगर ज़रूरत के समय अपना पैसा काम नहीं आया तो फिर वो पैसा क्या काम का, right? So we should invest for liquidity as well. If we cannot get our money back on time, it will be useless. Investment in stock market are highly liquid. Shares can be converted into money in less than 3 days. Online banking and digital services are working to reduce this time even further. And same applies to mutual fund as well. Excuse me. Sorry. The third objective is growth, the most important one. Your investment must grow more than the rate of inflation. By investing properly, we can expect good returns. Mutual funds deliver around 10 to 12% CAGR returns, whereas shares deliver around 15 to 20% returns if invested properly. If you don't have enough knowledge, please consult professional consultants. Don't just invest on intuitions or luck. You may lead or end up incurring huge losses. Before giving any advice or consultancy, I consider various factors like age of investors, his needs for return or objective of investment, you can say, risk appetite, market situation, company's balance sheet, funds portfolio, their management, and many more things on case to case basis. So if you cannot decide on your own, you should just consult an advisor. In short, make an informed decision. Further, there has to be some clarity about what investment actually is. People often get confused between three things: investments, savings, and insurance. Many marketing agents take advantage of it, but if we clearly need to know what these three things are, you must keep in mind you can put your savings into investment or insurance or both, but clearly keeping them separate is important. Insurance is just a safeguard against risk but not an investment. This has to be properly noted. We have specified some investment options here. Gold, which is very much attractive right now. There is always an inverse relation between gold and share market. Whenever you see a fall in market, people turn towards gold. Rise in demand for gold increases its prices. When situation normalizes, people again change their preference and things start moving as they were. Fine? That is on the other way. So there is inverse relation between gold and share market. If one rises, other falls, and if other falls, earlier one starts rising. Some bit of correlation is there. Real estate, mutual funds, FD, and few other options are also available, like government schemes. With falling rate of interest, many are turning towards FD and government interest schemes, turning away from them. Obviously, if you want to boost economy, interest rate need to be lowered. Take any developed country and check their interest rates on deposits. You will be surprised to know sometimes people need to pay the bank to keep their savings safe. As a relation, RBI is lowering rates to control interest driven inflation and give businesses a liquid and supportive base. If interest costs are very high, businesses need to increase their profit margin. Sorry, not profit margin, their cost. If they increase their cost, they have to increase the selling prices, which will affect inflation rates. And so, RBI is trying to reduce rates of interest. This is giving investments to high risk, high reward segments. This is a small data on gold returns. There is a spike in gold price because of some unforeseen event of COVID 19. Gold reaching 50,000 is getting momentum. Everyone nowadays is expecting this. Even everyone at my family, even my mom says, gold 50,000 हो जाएगा. Anyways, when the dust will settle, we can see the CAGR return from gold averages only 10%. Risk averse person can take it as an option. We Indian people are deeply in love with yellow metal. Very few people actually sell and realize returns in the event of needs. Most of people just put it away in lockers and it's a dead investment without yielding any kind of return. We will consider other investment options with share market case studies. Case studies are specific chosen company data collected, sector wise effects. We have seen some worst affected sectors, and here is the list of that: aviation, retail, financial, realty, or you can say real estate, and automobile. Common problem about these sectors is the loss of revenue. Lockdown restrictions are so vicious that any relief package will not be sufficient for them. Financial cost, rent, salary of station staff, hygiene cost, and other fixed overhead costs are sucking up the liquidity of these companies. If we go case wise, SpiceJet lost 72.29% value. It will continue to deteriorate until flying starts again. Another flyer, Indigo, Interglobe Aviation Limited, took a fall of 42.17% for the same reason. And research says that there will be a permanent damage to this industry as various corporates are avoiding business travels. Even tourism is going to go down, further reducing their businesses. Investment here shall be avoided until there is normalcy in behavior of flyers or customers of this specific uh, field of area. Next segment is retail segment. Future Retail Limited, if you see, we know that this company is commonly known as Big Bazaar, Pantaloons, etc. Their brands. Shopping malls specifically. These shopping malls lost big business in lockdown. Local stores, kirana store, medical stores, vegetable vendors, milkmen, they were open, they were doing their business. But precisely, uh, big bazaar kind of stores, the kind of stores this company owns, are shut down. In the same field, there is one company, Avenue Supermart, DMart. It's a company which have shown smooth and reverse picture from this specific future retail. The only difference in their balance sheet was amount of debt. Future retail have huge amount of debt, that is borrowed capital in their business, whereas Avenue Supermart, DMart have less debt. They have their own shops and their focus is primarily on groceries, household goods, whereas Big Bazaar sells many other things as well. So somehow future retail did not survive the crash that way as DMart did. Next retail company that I have selected is Titan. In consumer durable goods, Titan also felt the pinch, lost nearly 40%. But this is a good investment option as the company's fundamentals are strong. Their products are durable. They can have storage for they have time to store goods. They can save them for consumption in future, and as it is their products are not going to expire and incur losses. They can hold up and they can sell after lockdown settles. Next sector, financial sector. Banking stocks like HDFC, you can see almost all other banks as well lost 30 to 40% of value. Some NBFCs, non banking financial corporations, are worst hit. Bad loans are expected to grow, and in anticipation of that, these financial stocks are down. RBI and government are taking steps to ensure banking and financial systems shall keep working smooth and good. Loan EMI moratorium and reduction in RBI rates are some examples of it. However, recovery in these areas will be good in coming days. RBI is deploying its resources to help economy sail through this situation. Investment in this field is good. Some company shares are available at good prices considering their asset quality, and repo rates are going in favor of the same. The biggest threat which is now in the market is on real estate sector. You can say reality. Excuse me. This sector is going to get the biggest blow. As we can see, buyers postponed as there is question mark on job securities. If there is no job, no one is going to buy home at a place where their services are, but they are not localites of that particular place. Shortage of material and displacement of labor leading to delay in project completion. We all know RERA is going to punish these projects unless government does something. There is no good hope for these specific sectors. Work from home culture will continue to work and commercial demand will fall, leading to fall in utilization. Many companies where you don't need to visit office will not buy office. That will be the case. where these companies will lose the revenue. Malls, multiplex, hotels will not be able to set up new infrastructure until free movements begin. That is, lockdown settles down. Selected example, if we go for a specific example, that is, a specific mention will be hotel industry. They have huge real estates. For example, Indian hotels have many good properties, but lockdown will have tremendous impact on revenue. Share witnessed sharp fall up to 55%. Again, this industry is going to crash even further. Its economic impact will be worse as many people have already lost their jobs and many are in danger. Hope for the best. Automobile industry, one more sector with low demand. We have big cluster of vendors in their industries. Many MSME and other industries supply raw material spare parts to automobile manufacturers. And as this sector goes down, its effect on economy will be large. Many companies will suffer for long time before reaching a profitable state. However, auto servicing, insurance, and transport finance companies will recover fast and could be a better investment option in this situation. These are few worst affected sectors. We have some benefited sectors as well. There are businesses taking advantage of COVID lockdown situation. If we read the list, telecom, health check, insurance, packaged foods, pharmaceuticals, medicine manufacturing, we can say, electronic gadgets, all these sectors have received benefits. If we go case by case, we have telecom industry. After panic selling and drop in share prices, this sector took up the pace to recover and flourish. People are sitting at home, work from home, be it time pass or work, everyone needs internet. And Geo have made news all over the world. As we can see, investment here is preferred by whole world. Reliance, parent company of Jio, got investment for more than 1 lakh 4,300 crores in the lockdown period. Everyone is betting on the potential of this sector and specifically Jio. Facebook, Silver Lake, TPG all are global giants. Facebook alone bought about 10% stake in Jio. If we talk about Mr. Mukesh Ambani, he is truly Mota Bhai of Indian markets. As when whole world is struggling to survive, he sold a stake at premium and kept his promise to make his company debt free before committed time. Not only Reliance but other players also gained some momentum. Like small companies, Vodafone Idea have survived because of pandemic. It was expected to be a two-player market, a duopoly for Reliance Jio and Airtel before the lockdown. But on account of recent developments and AGR dues relaxation from Supreme Court and government, Vodafone Idea also have secured its survival. As a consequence, we can see Reliance, after taking a dip at lows, is now trading at lifetime highs, which is double from the price on 23rd March. We can see on 23rd March it had a fall of around 41.21%, but today if we observe it has grown like anything. The lifetime high is about 1750, which is almost double of what the low it has reached in March. Anyways, the next benefited sector is health check. People are running to check up after every sneeze. You can say there is panic among the people and everyone is afraid of COVID. Obviously, the benefit of this is taken by health checkup business. We can see the business of health checkup is getting huge surplus because of fear in society. After fall in March, this sector is gaining momentum and prices are increasing consistently. For example, Dr. Lal Path fell 27% and recovered 32% in a very short span. Even unlisted players like local hospitals, pathologists are also taking advantage of it. Just what was expected from another medical related sector made it to the news. Glenmark Pharma released medicine for COVID treatment. Dramatic effect was seen in its price. The share was valued at 188 on March 23, 2020 and made a high of 520 on June 22nd. Super profit, more than two and a half times, and not just one company, but the whole sector is in rising trend. Another example, if we see Cipla pharma stock recorded growth of about 70%. This sector was the most ignored sector in last 3 years, but now we can see further growth if situation continues to be like this. Invention of treatment is very much necessary and these companies are going to go for it and not stopping whatsoever. Next is sorry, packaged food. This is one of my favorite. Everybody loves Maggie. Nestle India is always growing company, well known for Maggie, milk powder, coffee, chocolates, etc. Shares have not only recovered from fall but is continuing its growth. People are buying these goods for stock in lockdown. Demand is so high that supply is looking meager. Britannia is another example with same market philosophy. Share continues to gain value from historic fall in March and recovery in June. A strong recovery of 60% is a very good sign. Next point, in spite of fall in market, investments are increasing day by day. Smart money is buying on falls and free people are buying on luck. If we consider next best investment option of mutual fund, they are growing like normal market situation. Except for a very few mismanaged debt funds, other are doing really good. Obviously, one cannot blame whole market for their own bad decision about selecting a bad fund or share. No offense. Few excuse me. Flow of SIPs, if we can see on screen, SIP is systematic investment plan. So flow of SIP is consistent. People who are risk averse, but advisors like me are motivating clients not to stop buying at interval levels. We have all type of financial plans to suit every pocket and expectation in India. Mutual fund investments actually are safe and have wide variety of products. The difference between mutual fund and share market can be seen here. Mutual fund is actually an AMC, asset management company. Investors who do not have proper or complete knowledge of stock market, they hand over their savings or they invest their savings in an AMC, which is a mutual fund. Then mutual funds invest that money in stock market on behalf of their clients. Okay? So indirectly, all the investments through mutual funds either go into debt funds or stock market. So direct share market investment is something where investor himself invest in the stock market, and in mutual funds they go in direct ways. So the risk class is approximately the same, just we have a cushion of better investment plans if you go through mutual funds, or if you have proper consultants looking after your portfolio, then you can go for share market directly as well. You need not go for mutual funds then. Finally, key takeaways. Key takeaways, that is, we are concluding the session. It is important to stay well informed when you are facing an unprecedented situation to avoid difficult financial decisions and necessary steps to be taken to minimize the losses. Obviously, if you are unsure about making a suitable plan, don't hesitate to consult your professional investment advisors to formulate the same for you. Portfolio shall be managed in a way to minimize losses and help lay down a path to quick recovery of your investments whenever the markets revive. We have outlined few tips to build a plan. First of which is diversification of portfolio. Never forget or ignore importance of diversification. As I mentioned earlier, there is inverse relation between some asset classes like share market, gold and crude oil. They go up and down in some or the other relation. So diversify according with consultation if need be. Commonly, it is said that not to keep all eggs in one basket. So that was the first key takeaway. Second point we can make, proportionate investment at a time and for long term. Don't put in all the money you have at once. Investment in installments over a longer period of time to get the benefits of ups and downs logically. Equity investments should be held for long term. Mutual fund SIP can help you out with benefit of, we can say, rupee cost averaging and reduce your investment risk. At the same time you are investing in slow and steady ways. When you invest with a long term view, every fall in market will start looking like an opportunity to buy and increase your wealth. Next point is to set a financial goal and start working on steps to achieve them. Every investment must have a set target. It could be anything like children's education, marriage, world tour, retirement home, etc. Setting goals need to be a long term only strategy. Means goal has to be a long term or even a short term, but investment plans should have a long term objective. Buying and selling time should be flexible in order to match the situation. Means if your goals are long term, but in short term if you have an opportunity to book your profits or to gain or to have a chance to liquidate and cash some profits, you should be able to go for it. You need not wait for deadline of the investments or your specific goal. So set a goal but keep investments free. Last point is invest your own money. Never take a loan for investment. If you borrow for investment, return on investment in such volatile market is not assured, and so you may end up making huge mistake. You may have to sell investments untimely to make profits or payments of your debts and EMIs. So never borrow unless it is very much necessary, not for investment at least. Lastly, we can say this was just an economic survey, or we can say a report developed by us. So here is the thing. Thank you very much for listening. जय हिंद, जय महाराष्ट्र.